So at this moment, there is a huge and primarily ignored problem affecting millions of people. The problem is this. Mental health practitioners want to help autistic people, and autistic people want help from mental health practitioners. But what autistic people need from their mental health practitioner and what they receive are so totally different that often more harm is done than good. The crux of this problem lies in the mental health field's conceptualization of autistic people as less than so-called normal people. But normal is a pretty subjective concept, usually defined by whoever the predominant group is at the time. And studies show that autistic people don't want to be normal. They view their autism as a value-neutral and integral part of their identity. They don't want to get rid of their autism. They just want access to the same quality of life and mental health care that non-autistic people get. I was diagnosed as being on the gray area of the autism spectrum when I was 19. This experience launched me into a vibrant autism community. I first integrated into the community by reading autistic-run magazines. I noticed an overwhelming amount of discussion about stigmatizing experiences with mental health practitioners. From articles about people's therapists casually comparing them to apes and robots, to articles about people attempting suicide at the age of 14 to get out of anti-autistic behavior training. The saddest part was, as a mental health counselor myself, I knew these practitioners likely thought they were doing the right thing. They were almost always following the predominant treatment protocol. But their treatments wound up having two major negative effects. The first was damage to their relationship with the autistic client, which is the single most important factor of therapeutic success. And the second was corrosion of the autistic client's self-esteem, which is correlated to the astoundingly high suicide rates of this population. My work with autistic adults is critical for three reasons. One, this research provides them a platform to advocate for the cessation of techniques that they view as oppressive and stigmatizing. Two, it challenges the ethics and efficacy of the predominant method of autism conceptualization. And three, it generates practical suggestions for how to far better serve this population. A good place to start is to include autistic voices in decisions about their treatment. So much harm has been done by forcing a square peg into a round hole. What can we become when we are no longer the subject of psychology's hammer? Thank you.
Wow. Very nicely done. Questions for Zoe? Yes.
Do you think this is unique to adults with autism, or do you think the same issue is negatively impacting kids when they're getting treatment?
That's a great question. I specifically wanted to look at adults with autism for issues relating to feasibility with the study and IRB protocols and protections, but also because autistic adults are very much forgotten about by the system. There's often this huge push when you're a toddler to put you in all of these treatments that are going to get rid of your autism, to shape the course of your life, and then many autistic adults, studies show, feel like the system just gives up on them when they're adults. They just say, okay, well, we failed with you, and so you're on your own. And so much of the research out there about autistic adults is not even with autistic adults. It's asking their parents or their healthcare provider to speak for them. So I really wanted to give this community a voice in my research. Thank you for the question.